Okay, this part is about the 1994 earthquake and having to do with where I was working, which was Santa Monica Bay Physicians, which was on, I believe, 15th Street in Santa Monica, 15-story building. So the morning that the earthquake hit, I actually at some point I borrowed somebody's phone and called and left a message that I wouldn't be in. Little did I know, it's like, that it had affected that building too, and they, it's like nobody really went into work. Actually, people probably may have gone there, but they didn't. They weren't. They had the building closed down for inspection and so on. And I want to say it was closed for like happened on a Monday, so it probably opened back up on like maybe Wednesday, something like that. By the middle of the week, it opened up. We were able to go in. It's like and. I had spent, it's like I spent a good part of the day still at home in Northridge, not Northridge, but in Encino, until sometime in the middle of the day. I just drove down to my parents, stayed at my parents' house, and actually sometime that morning too, I mentioned before that I had got a hold of somebody's cell phone, and I called and said it's like I wouldn't be making it in because I didn't know it was closed or I didn't know it was closed down. So anyway, the so when I went, I came down to my parents' house, and I stayed that night at my parents' house. And the following morning, if I remember correctly, on Tuesday, I went ahead and drove up to Santa Monica Bay Physicians. I couldn't get a hold of anybody there, so I didn't know what was going on. So I went there, and when I got there, interestingly, standing outside was the administrator, Bob Vasey, was there, and so was Sandy, and I can't think of her last name. She was in charge of the building department, so we all were standing out in front, and realized that it's like they weren't going to let us into the building or anything until inspected. So I think it opened up back up on Wednesday or something like that. They didn't keep it closed down that long. So I was able to go back. I was still staying at my parents' house, and I was able to go back to work like on, I believe it was Wednesday morning. And when we got in, it's like, the earthquake didn't just hit the valley, it hit other areas around Los Angeles. Some places a little worse than others. I mean, the valley hit the worst, but so anyway, it's like we got in. It's like there was some damage. I had a small office. I was the finance director there, and I think the only real damage in my office was my terminal. This is 1994 standards, so it's like my terminal had gotten tossed off the desk, and we probably had more of a swing of it because we had the two, the medical group was the top two floors, the 14th and 15th floor, so it was swaying, it was obviously it was certainly swaying, back and forth, because it wasn't, if we had been on the first few floors, probably wouldn't have been affected it as bad, what was going, as far as damage and so on. So anyway, it's like my terminal was probably, I can't remember if it was actually broken or not. It's like, but it's like it may have been fine. I just picked it up and put it back on the thing. So it's like I just don't remember. And the other offices, on the 14th and 15th floor, had various things. It wasn't too bad on any of that except for one thing. It's like we had almost like this 15th and a half floor. It's like it's top two floors, but we had the medical records, and I can't remember the man's name that ran the medical records. He had a number of like staff, people that helped with the records and everything, but several people that probably reported to him. Anyway, it was the very top, and at that time, medical records were kept. They were not digital. They were all paper and folders and stuff, and oh my God, it was like, I had no idea it was that bad. I actually, me and a few other people that worked there, when we had time, we went out and helped them because it took them a long time. I don't know how long to get it straightened out, but it was like you went up there and in some places there were file folders, which included like a lot of the paperwork and stuff that were in the files. it was like just pile, it was like, you know, at least 2 feet, 3 feet, high in this. And it's like they were just trying to, you know, gather them up and just stack them and try and deal with it. And it's like, I probably took months for them to get everything straightened out in the medical records department. It was just kind of a disaster. It was like amazing. I remember one of the doctors one time saying, asking him for a certain, he goes, but do you have this one medical record? It's like, nope. I can't even think about it. Think about looking for it, because it's like, good luck with that. Maybe in 6 months, maybe you can ask me for that folder. But I felt really bad for the guy. It's like the administrator at one point was giving him a bad time, and it's but you could only do so much. It's like they were just scrambling. But that was probably the biggest nightmare there. It's like, and that day, that first day we went back I believe was Wednesday, and so I would periodically go up and help them and stuff, and so would some other people, do what we could for them, so that was the biggest the biggest issue as far as like going to work. It's almost like it was terrible, because it's like I couldn't get away from the earthquake stuff, because my apartment was like, the electricity was out until like maybe the following weekend. It's like the following weekend, so it was out for at least 5 days, I think. So I couldn't go home. And then, I was staying at my parents, and then, going to work was, like, it's like you still had the whole earthquake, drama going there too. So, but anyway, we eventually they got the records straightened out, and any other problems we had. So it's like, I just wanted to mention how, the whole, I thought it was just kind of funny that I called in, it's like, hey, I can't come to work. Like they weren't at work either.